is group stalking by helicopter, creating rumbling in my office while the entity is at this distance. Again, they're using multiple helicopters, so you're looking at crossing path and also flying directly over me, and it's demonic when they're engaging what is sensational activity and also amplified audible activity. This is occurring in the specific environment where there is no sun, number one, today in 2022 over the Upland Public Library at 450 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California, nor relevant to the same exact analysis showing the specific environment where the light source is remaining over me, and it's also not over the Paul Bunyan Library, which is where I remain on June 23rd, 2022, which is the same exact time at this point where the light source is, where the sun is not ever going to be over Alvarado Gardens, while I'm showing that it remains directly over me at the Paul Bunyan Library in both video and in images. This is the pattern of conduct that's underway. That's LAPD that's flying over for the 19th time, and that is flying over. That's called crossing path. That's group stalking. It's entirely demonic. Look at the shadow of the palm tree on the roof of this building. This is the same property where I am present standing right here in this parking lot at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're looking at the entity that's engaging in this conduct. As I will remind you, at 9 o'clock, and I'm standing at the same property, and the light source is directly behind me, and you're looking at what is demonic light activity creation by a third-party group stalker that is acting in concert with LAPD, which I did capture on video, which the entity, again, engaged in obstruction of justice, the same entity that is group stalking, engaged in deletion of evidence. And that is also a documentation of the same exact criminal system, by the way. And in addition to that, I don't even need it. But this is the same environment, the same parking lot.
Space as well. Monday.
Again, this is where I'm at right now. I'm at the same parking lot. I'm standing here at 9 o'clock in the morning. The light source is directly behind me at this location because you can see it in the window of the third-party group stalker, his window, Universal Waste. This is the same time of year analysis, April 29, 2024. You will see that light source through the window as we went through earlier.
They are engaging in monitoring.
This is it right here, just so that you can see it in slow motion. That's the light source that's directly behind me. I'm standing at this location in this parking lot. I'm right here at 9 o'clock in the morning. The light source seen through the window of the third-party group stalker, Universal Waste. The light source is right here behind me where I stand here, and then they cross path, and impossible light moves all across that building, which is again the ongoing hallmark of what is group stalking, which is also seen through what is helicopter activity, stalking by helicopter.
Space as well. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they're engaged in this act of terrorism coming on.
So I just want you to see where I'm at. I'm standing right here. I'm facing that building. Universal Waste is group stalking. The light source is right here. It is, again, 4:44 p.m. That's an excellent time, by the way. This is the light source at the same venue on the opposite side of my person, okay? So in other words, if I'm standing on this side, facing this direction, through the third-party group stalker's window or any third party, you're going to see the light source directly behind me, which is the pattern of conduct, and that, again, duration of time analysis. This is where the entity is group stalking, and these are demons that are using helicopters. This is identifying a government that's engaged in demonic activity, and it's going to be recognized and prosecuted as America's version of terrorism, and it is indeed incompatible with anything suggesting that that's a natural environment that remains over me, by the way, while I am in Rancho Cucamonga, California, where I'm reminding you about that. And this is what I documented because I remain inside of this venue, which is what I showed you on still images. The light source remains over me as I'm at the Paul Bunyan Library on this day. And not only that, I have what is the presence of the light source during the same time of year. You'll remember, while I used it as an example of what is the impossible maintenance of the sun. It is indeed the light source because it is remaining over that same venue. The Paul Bunyan Library is adjacent feet away from the parking garage where I'm showing you the impossible light activity, speaking to exactly what Universal Waste is engaging in while they're driving by building 1818, and the light source is still over me at the same property. It's just directly on the opposite side of my person. What is 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 7 hours later at the same address where you're seeing stalking in a helicopter, which is demonic activity in front of your face, by the way. By the world-known Los Angeles Police Department. It is the entire department. It's not just the chief of police, whose image you saw. I specifically documented that. He's a state actor. He's engaged in what is being the chief of police over a corrupt police department. That entire police department is documented engaged in a state surveillance system in violation of constitutional and human rights, and this department in its entirety is demon infected. That's why you have the maintenance of the environment here in Los Angeles, and it's not over the Rancho Cucamonga Library and Paul Bunyan Library. And feet away from that is what I captured. Same time of year analysis, April 23rd, 2022, 5:19 p.m. The light source is remaining over me, and I'm in Rancho Cucamonga. This is after exiting the Paul Bunyan Library, and this is the light source while I'm at that Paul Bunyan Library, and this is just the example so that you can see what is indeed under no circumstances moving to be over Alvarado Gardens apartments, outside of and being over my head, outside of my apartment, like I captured as I walked down to show you at 3:14 p.m. and juxtaposing that with the light source that's clearly over my head while I'm remaining at the Paul Bunyan Library. That's exactly where that light source remains as I walked out, and this is same time of year analysis, April 23rd, 2022. The entity is maintaining this light source as I heavily went back and forth to the Paul Bunyan Library during this time of year, and this is the light source that's over me in that parking lot. This is what I use to...
Having nothing to do with what is light that's appearing up there. Here's my shadow here. There's my shadow over there. That's the shadow of vehicles moving. Impossible light. The mark of demon possession.
By the way, that's the same pattern that you're seeing exhibited while Universal Waste is crossing path in a vehicle while the light source is over me at the same exact property. That is Alvarado Gardens, where you're looking at the entity using a helicopter to engage in terrorism. That is flying in relevant position at a great distance while my office is over here, and it's creating sensational activity. That's impossible activity creation, also amplified in sound. Okay, that's called targeting. That's how demons are targeting, and that is the pattern of conduct where a demonic entity is targeting you, and it's supposed to falsely depict that target individual as suffering from some sort of mental illness. That is revealing the mental illness of the very highly malicious and psychotic. By the way, that's identification of a mental illness. As we are referring to it in the secular, it's actually speaking to what are spirits. Okay. The demon possessed are engaged in monitoring, okay? And that's Akeem Mariaga. His demon possession exhibited through that impossible light activity moving across the building. He's acting with impunity. The entity acts with simultaneity to the damning evidence as I utter it. You have a demon that crosses path and engages in the ongoing demonstration of it. That's the entity that's engaging in what is flying over me for 19 times and flying in circles for 47 minutes in front of my living room window, flying directly over my bedroom, over my apartment in the evening, flying in circles for a prolonged period over this building, as I documented, flying repeatedly in circles in 2 videos over the weekend, 20 minutes each, flying in circles as I documented on a separate occasion while in the workplace. The entities engaged in this pattern of conduct, flying in circles for a prolonged period over Silverview townhomes while I was looking at it outside of my bedroom window, which is called relevant positioning, and it's a demon that's pacing around in a helicopter. They're doing so in a specific environment where the time frame of 9 a.m. till what is 4:44 p.m. It's currently 4:49 p.m. and you're looking at what is targeting by virtue of that distance and the affect that it has on me inside of my office. And you're also remembering the engineered light. When I'm walking in and you're looking at my upright shadow appearing in the corner, that's called impossible light activity. Okay, the light that you're looking at on my ceiling inside of my bedroom, that's called impossible light activity. The entity is maintaining a specific environment while it is directly engaged in a criminal pattern of conduct, which is designed to terrorize you, and it is also designed to monitor you with communication devices. And this is what I'm capturing inside of my private
It is currently 3:14 p.m. and I'm capturing this because I want you to understand the power of documentation and how you're going to what is exposed corruption. So first of all, this is the engineered light that you're looking at on my ceiling. And while I'm in my bedroom, this is engineered light. You can see it on the wall. This is engineered light. Here we go. Let me walk into it. That's engineered light, the shape of the window. Also, there's layers of it. There's the blinds right there, and then you have it above my head. This is illumination.
Okay, that's called targeting with light, and this is while the entity is maintaining a light source over the same property, which is not coexisting with being today in 2022 over the Upland Public Library. And the Upland Public Library has a roof that has windows. It is exclusive sky space that is not going to be seen while over the Upland Public Library at any time of the year while you are, yes, using what I documented at the Paul Bunyan Library. Over the roof of the Upland Public Library is not going to be over anywhere over my head, let alone over the property of Victoria Gardens. It's directly over the roof. That's why I'm looking at the light source through the windows of that roof while I'm at that address, and the entity engaged in that for the duration of the day. And then even from that, you are understanding under no circumstances is that going to create any light on your ceiling inside of your bedroom, like I'm showing you inside of my bedroom, where the entity is engaged in what is targeting via light activity. And in addition to that, you have what is maintaining the light source while I am documenting that pattern of conduct, and I step outside and you're looking at that light source that's remaining over Alvarado Gardens as a matter of documentation, just using universal waste as one example. 9 o'clock in the morning, that's not sunlight that's moving across the building while they're crossing path under that light source that's here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still at this same parking lot, the same physical location, and you're looking at the light source that's not over the Upland Public Library, it's not over the Paul Bryan Library, and it's also not possibly the sun while it's at the same address on the only the opposite side of my person as I stand at that same location, which is 7 hours later. That's called the pattern of conduct, and it is replete with what is showing methods of stalking with engineered light. Those that are stalking in the path, and that's what you're doing in the unnatural environment, you're doing so while a light source, which is not possibly the sun, and while engineered light covers all of the property, all of the environment. And that's what the people of the state are living in. That's what they coexist with their crossing a path, like Akeem Mariaga. This is a psychopath, a demon-possessed one who's going to federal prison. His timing to engage in that criminal conduct, driving by in that black Jetta, is pursuant to what is lying in wait conduct. This is a demon that's already prepared to engage in crossing a path, and while these demons are hostile, listening to me recite their criminal conduct, crossing a path while I speak to the fact that they are demons, while I speak to the fact that the light activity is demonic, while I speak to the fact that they are sex offending, violent, and psychotic group stalkers who, by the way, are documented engaging what are flying over me. Again, it is currently 4:52 p.m. This is documentation of what is Speaker Companies as a third party. It's not exercising any constitutional rights as a business, and Todd Speaker is a third party group stalker as well, and that's going to be published on a list maintained by the DOJ, and it is understanding for what its prosecution for terrorism in the United States, keeping Americans under surveillance, and that's what the world needs to understand the Los Angeles Police Department is engaging in, and that is what is revealing also the condition of the masses. And by the masses, I mean the Los Angeles Police Department has thousands and thousands of people a part of this agency, and they are of this condition, and this is they are terrorizing American citizens in the state of California. Okay, this is speaking to a pattern of conduct that I am exposing. They're acting in concert with the people of the state. This is a population, and this is a demon-possessed population, and every method employed, in other words, the criminal elements monitoring, are demonic in and of itself. The entity is stalking me in helicopters at 4:59 in the morning in the dark, maintaining presence all around my apartment, engaged in ongoing corporate invasion of privacy. They're violent sex offenders, and they're demon-possessed stalkers engaged in group stalking, which demonic entities engaged in stalking. This entity happens to be the Los Angeles Police Department, which represents the state of California. It's the same entity that Lisa Rogan is acting in concert with. The Ontario Police Department are acting in concert with when this same entity engaged in what is a fictitious prosecution for purposes of kidnapping me. And this was kidnapping while federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. It's a criminal act of obstruction of justice. And every single name, like I said before, that's exactly what I mean, because that's exactly what's happening, and that's exactly what the evidence is revealing. Every single last person that is documented engaging in this fictitious prosecution that I literally went through and documented every aspect of it is going to federal prison. So just so that you can see the judges who are identified by bar number, they are indeed going to federal prison, and they are going to be permanently removed from the legal profession as well. These are the names of the judges that entertained a fictitious prosecution, and the entity engaged in making up information for purposes of entertaining that fictitious prosecution at what is a state facilitating venue, and they did so while the entity was still engaged in group stalking at the courthouse with the sheriff's departments, okay, with the people of the state, literally the demon-possessed who are sitting in the jails in handcuffs, in jail suits, while they're monitoring. This is demonic activity, and it is happening in the courts, it's happening in the jails, and it's happening obviously amongst the people of the state who are group stalking with the entity that uses helicopters, and is group stalking with the people of the state, like you see Akeem Mariaga of 1802 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 2. He's going to federal prison, okay? This is P.O.C. It's currently 4:55 p.m.